With details on multiple AEW contracts and more, this is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Touching on her upcoming autobiography, Becky Lynch said this about it to the Sports Media Podcast. We all think of ourselves as the hero of our own story. At some points, you look at yourself and go, oh no, I was the a-hole. Things like that, where you have to be really honest with yourself, is quite humbling. I did love the writing process, especially the early writing process where it was a pure, let me get all my thoughts, ideas, and memories down on paper. Let me write without the moral police being on my shoulder, without the public judgment on my shoulder. Let me just write for me. I found that experience to be my favorite part. When it came to the editing process and going back and looking at everything, I did a year-long writing course. I did write it myself and loved it, but realized I didn't know anything about writing. Have you heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you start something and you've never done it in your life? I am awesome at this. I'm so good. I'm the best. I'm a prodigy. I'm a natural. That's how I felt about writing. Then I did this writing course because I wanted to be good at it, and I found out how little I knew about writing, and it's very intimidating. It was a round circle program with other people reading your work and giving feedback, and it was very helpful. You find out what's working and what isn't working, but you also find out how much you don't know and you're learning. I love that process too, because I love trying to improve on something, especially when I get passionate about something and I want to be good at it. I really love writing. It's something I've done my whole life. My dad had me writing in journals since as long as I could write. I've always found that to be almost meditative. Writing a book was a great process. I'm in the editing process, the late editing process. I had some problems with editors, some people leaving the company. Now I have great editors, and we're off to the races. Hopefully it'll be out early next year. Mentioning the possibility of content from AEW joining the HBO Max streaming platform, AEW President Tony Khan said this to PW Insider. We have all the bones for a really strong streaming platform. It would be a very strong addition to any streaming platform, and my dream is that it all lands on Max. It would be tremendous. Right now, AEW All Access is available on Max, which is very cool, and hopefully that is a step in the right direction, getting our stuff streaming. We have a great library. Altogether, with everything I own, it's thousands of hours of great wrestling, and the AEW catalog has grown so much considering we started this thing from scratch 4 years ago. I believe the streaming service will happen. As to where it is and what platform it is, that's something that I believe largely will be influenced by Warner Brothers. Speaking of Warner Brothers Discovery, it looks like they have their eye on WWE programming, with Dave Meltzer saying on Wrestling Observer Radio, there is talk of Warner Bros. Discovery being interested in WWE, with the idea that they would have the entire pro wrestling market, but I don't see that at all. There is interest, but I don't see WWE going on the same station as AEW, and certainly if they did, there would be no agreement to cross-promote. As World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins is set to take on Finn Balor at SummerSlam, he would take to Twitter to post his ring gear shoes, which take a dig at Balor and their feud that dates back to SummerSlam of 2016 over the inaugural Universal title. Speaking about comparisons to The Rock and Stone Cold and what it would mean to become a world champion in WWE, LA Knight told Good Karma Wrestling, I think if you're in this and you don't want to be a champion, then what are you doing here? For me, that's the vote of confidence that this is the guy. Aside from that, it's an achievement of, hey man, I made this whole thing work to where I am now. The face, I am the top of this company. I am the guy. For me, that's the pinnacle. That's where you want to be. The roster is so stacked and full, and you want the premium live events to stand out as something different than what you see on TV, so you don't want the exact same formula. So those spots on the premium live events are limited. At some point, look, I'm getting the big reactions, you can't deny that, but at the same time, some people would say he's only been here 9 or 10 months or whatever. Some of that is just figuring out that a lot of this was unexpected. A lot of this came out of the blue. Sometimes plans have to change, and that's the way it goes. Here we are. Now you're looking at me being an integral part of SummerSlam coming in. We've got the Slim Jim Battle Royal. It's 20 guys in that ring. I don't know who anybody else is in that match except me and Sheamus at this point. So all bets are off when it comes to that. Ford Field Battle Royal, you're looking for big things, and there just might be this guy's hand raised here. Yeah. With Jim Ross having been away from AEW lately due to health issues, he was asked by a fan if he would be at the All In event, as Ross replied, "I'm hopeful." Talking about her in-ring future with WWE following her pregnancy, Carmella said this to Distractify. "I definitely want to go back. I'm someone who likes to be, active and keep busy. So it's definitely hard, I think, to go from working so much all the time and being on the road all the time to the exact opposite. I definitely want to go back. I think it's important to show that you can be a mom and still have a career, and especially a very physical one." Mentioning how WWE failed to capitalize on his momentum after his match at Clash at the Castle, Sheamus told the Daily Star, "I'm not upset about that at all, losing to Gunter at WWE Clash at the Castle. I felt it was great. It was just the type of character Sheamus is, all fits and elbows, which I was upset about, and what really bothered me was the creative after that. I came out of that with so much organic momentum, and it was just wasted. It didn't go anywhere. It was a dead end, just like with WrestleMania. Drew McIntyre went away because he was injured, but I was ready to go and then just nothing. There was no avenues and nowhere to go, and that's frustrating. I did the War Games thing, but that's how I felt, though others might have felt differently." After his ladder match against Buddy Matthews, Andrade took to social media to show off a nasty bruise. When asked about potentially having one last match in professional wrestling, Mark Henry told 10 Tampa Bay, "I threaten my son all the time. I say, listen man, if you do that one more time, part 2 of my killing spree is gonna start. And he'll say, you ain't gonna do nothing. He's probably right. It's in there, but I don't know what it will take to bring it out." On Twitter, Top Dolla posted before and after photos showcasing his body transformation, as he wrote, "Now 305 pounds, last year 370 pounds, 6 months ago 259 pounds, full body rebuild." Despite CM Punk revealing that his AEW World title was what was in the bag on the most recent edition of Collision and him claiming to be the true champion, AEW is not officially recognizing Punk as a title holder on their website. With Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Hangman Page all recently re-signing with AEW to multi-year deals, Dave Meltzer noted this on Wrestling Observer Radio. "They actually made the deal. I would guess it was a couple of weeks ago. I don't know the date, but I do know the deal was already made, and he told them to keep quiet on it because he wanted to announce it on August 2nd in conjunction with the 200th episode. Speaking of AEW stars re-signing with the promotion, Evil Uno of Dark Order would write in response to a tweet talking about this, saying, "Dark Order also re-signed. Where's our press release?" Kip Sabian chimed in writing, "Sweet, oh yeah, me too." Going back to the topic of the Elite signing with AEW, it looks like they almost signed with WWE, as Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio. The 4 guys had made a pact that they were going to stick together, whether it would be in WWE or AEW. They basically made an agreement that it was going to be majority rules. It had gone back and forth, but essentially, whatever it was, 3 of the 4 or 4 of the 4 made the deal. But they all had agreed that they were going to go together as a group, either to WWE or stay as a group, so it was not going to be a split up. Views changed. People think that it was like they were never going to go to WWE or anything like that. There were discussions. There were votes to change. There were things that happened since this pact was made. And I think this pact was made some time back, but they're going to be in AEW. It appears there are some in WWE that are not too happy with the women's division. As WRKD Wrestling reported, there are growing frustrations backstage in WWE regarding the handling of the women's division. As Vince McMahon is away from WWE due to a recent spinal surgery, this was said about a return on Wrestling Observer Radio. For now, Vince McMahon has stepped away from his duties as executive chairman for the time being. There's no time frame that I've heard for his return, so there you go. As Rob Van Dam made his AEW debut on Dynamite this week, Ringside News wrote this regarding his status with the company. Details of RVD's contract with AEW have been revealed by PW Insider, stating that it is a short-term deal. He is currently only scheduled for one match against Jack Perry. Interestingly, RVD's wife, Katie Forbes, was also present at AEW Dynamite, but she did not make an appearance on screen with the WWE Hall of Famer. Despite his involvement with AEW, WWE is still advertising Rob Van Dam as a part of the WrestleMania 40 weekend packages in Philadelphia, hinting at a potential appearance at the event. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.